Hopefully that works.
It's 4074.
Yeah. That's what I'm on. 407. Okay. Cheryl and Lee. Sandra. Everybody's logging in this morning. Hey, Sandra. Hey, guys,
Hey.
you can invite anybody. I just got your email.
Oh, shoot. I thought it was at 11:30, so, oh, well.
Oh, well, we'll be still going at 11:30.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and pop it over to him.
All right, just letting everybody in here. Spencer, my man. There we go. Hey, everybody.
What's it?
Angie, Derek. Derek, you still down in Monterey?
Yep.
When you coming back? We
I'll
missed
be
you.
back for a little bit this weekend. I got some showings and stuff, but not till February.
Oh, wow.
Start eating some good food down there.
2-month hiatus.
Crabby was good.
You're like on a permanent vacation, man.
Pretty much.
Chrissy said you're eating some good food down there.
Yeah.
That's the ocean right there.
We're jealous, man.
Yeah.
So what's the good word out there? We'll give it a couple more minutes before we fire up. Still letting a couple people in.
I've just been getting a ton of referrals from the Bay Area. A lot of folks are going full virtual. Sounds like some of the companies are doing that, so people are getting out of the Bay. I've also had that backfire a little bit in the sense that they said they're going to move out of state too, instead of working into Sacramento, because they're not going to have to commute at all. So it's been interesting. From our point.
Did they say where they're moving to by chance? I'm just trying to take the pulse of where people are going outside of
That
what
one
I
I
know.
think was going to be a one-off. He's from the East Coast, so he's moving back that direction.
Interesting.
But I think it's been Idaho, Arizona, Florida, not so much Oregon, a little Washington. That's what we've been hearing for the most part, and then some Tennessee.
Tennessee's big.
Yeah.
Shannon, Garrett. Here we go. We're letting everybody in. All right. Well, I'm going to keep this open. We're going to talk a little bit this morning, but today's instruction, if you will, is about Raving Fans. And so kind of the format for today is we're going to do a bit of a core sales test. I sent that out, or we sent that out this morning. You should see that in your email. If not, we can resend it, or it may be in your junk, but it did go out. It's a big packet. It really has everything that we're going to be talking about today in it. So it's a lot of information. So I'm going to get started without further ado. And then but before we get started, we're going to listen to this week's update on the market. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen and we'll go there. Okay, here we go.
All right, it's Monday, January 11th, 2021, and this is your weekly look at the latest Altos research data that came in over the weekend for the entire U.S. real estate market. Each week, Altos tracks every home for sale in the country, all the pricing, all the supply and demand, all the changes, so that you can see the trends here before it becomes available through the traditional media channels. This week, we are hosting our monthly hour-long webinar where we get to dive deeper into the data. We'll spend more time with our forecast for the year and what the data is already telling us about 2021. We'll keep an eye on the big negative impacts for the year, including a couple of million homes that are still in the mortgage forbearance program. We spend more time on the local and regional data. And we also talk about how realtors and brokers should be using the data right now to communicate with your buyers and sellers. 2021 is a unique time in the history of the U.S. real estate market. So you should join us at 10 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday, January 13th this week to make sure you cover it. There is a link to register in the description below. Our space is limited to the first 500 attendees. And each month, as more people attend, we've been getting very close to that limit. So make sure you register and join us on Wednesday so you don't miss out. Okay, out of the data. Available inventory is our headline again this week. We're now under 400,000 single-family homes for sale in the entire US. Some of this, of course, is because we're in early January, but you can see in the chart here just how much lower than normal we really are. The low interest rates have had such a huge impact on our inventory, both from demand, but also on the supply side. When I have a super cheap mortgage, I am more likely to hold than to sell my first home when I go to buy another. So you can see in the chart here, the last 6 years, the only January that's had an increase year over year of active inventory was January 2019. That's the red 815,000 number right here. And that had followed 8 months of rising interest rates in 2018. So as rates were higher, inventory climbed that year. Every other year, we followed this predictable pattern of slowly shrinking inventory. 2020, of course, rates were remarkably low, and therefore we have fewer home sellers and more home holders. Expect this inventory number to tick down or move sideways for a few more weeks, and then, fingers crossed, start climbing for peak season, starting sometime in February through March, April, May, June. When we look at home prices, the second week of January is always my favorite week of the year. We get to see the price rebound after the holidays, the first sign of the price rebound after the holidays. This year's no exception, with the price of the newly listed cohort, that's the blue line here, jumping to $299 this week. So that's the very far right end of the blue line. You can see the jump. Next few weeks, this will keep climbing as the best new inventory hits the market for spring. Median home price overall actually ticked down this week to $336,900. That's still 10% higher than last year. The red line on this chart lags behind the blue line by 15 to 30 days, but this will steadily tick up as well in the following weeks, following the blue line higher, aiming for our July peak of the market. In the webinar tomorrow, we will spend some time with the leading indicators. And here's one that's most striking. The percentage of homes with price reductions is at a record low point. Supply is low, demand is high, so very few listings have to take a price cut. We have a few more weeks of new inventory rolling in that won't have price cuts yet, so this percentage will keep ticking lower before it hits its lowest point of the year in a few weeks. But at only 22% nationally, this is very bullish for home prices that will stay elevated for well into the year. But join the webinar tomorrow. We'll get to spend a little more time on the pattern, the band that it trades in, and what it tells us specifically about home prices. Okay, so that's the date of free home for sale in the country.
Okay, so just following up on this, let's use this information this week to communicate with our buyers and sellers. Altos has done a great job over these past 2 or 3 weeks about coming up with a nice narrative about what's happening in the United States the week prior or during that week. So if you need to copy and paste, usually I do this on every Monday. It's kind of like my internal thing, Monday morning or Monday midday. I'll check and make sure they're open, and then I'll send it out. Many of you shared this week from my Facebook page. Feel free to do that. Feel free to be posting it on LinkedIn. And then also, if you go just to the Altos research webpage, you'll see, he mentioned yesterday, or he mentioned from this Monday webinar regarding the Wednesday webinar, they post all these to their YouTube channel. So feel free to go on and take a look at that and update yourself on what's happening with the market. Okay, I'm going to stop the share. And then many of you, I've got everybody in. Thanks everybody for coming on board here. Many of you probably received the packet that was just sent out via mail. This was a test that we took at the business planning clinic that we did at the end of December. Several of you weren't there. There's a lot of new agents that have joined since. And by the way, Derek, you mentioned, a lot of agents from the Bay, are sending referrals. What we're noticing right now is through all of our connections in the Bay Area, a lot of people are getting excited about EXP too. And those seeds that we've planted over these past years, sharing the good news about what EXP is doing for many agents is starting to come to fruition. Had a call with Gene Frederick yesterday. The company just hit 42,000 agents. It hasn't been published yet, but I want to say out of that 42,000, 800 of them joined in the past 2 weeks. Amazing growth. And we're going to see that, no doubt we're going to see that continue. So what I'd like you to do is take out a piece of paper or a piece of scratch paper or your phone if you don't have anything. And I'd like you to run down these 20 questions. I'm going to burn through them really quickly. And last week we talked about discipline. We talked about launching 2021 off as an opportunity for you to have one of your best years in real estate. The market's still going to be super hot. Inventory is still going to be super low. Federal Reserve came out and said we're not going to be raising rates until 2023. So it's a great time to be a real estate agent, regardless of COVID. So here's where it starts, a real self-identification of what your business currently looks like. 20 questions. I'm going to take about 3 minutes to go through this. And please do your best to answer these, okay? So, you plug in the number of the median home price in your area for number one. Here in Sacramento, it's about 450,000. So I averaged about 450,000 or whatever that would equate to as a realtor. If you're in the Bay, that's going to be $1 million and $25,000 per commission. Here for 450,000, it's going to be about 12,000 or so in commission. So let's pump that in there, depending upon where you are in Anaheim. Probably, I don't know, it's a little bit higher than us, maybe 600,000. You pump that in there, but this should be, I average the median home price for my area and collect a commission for that property that's based on the median home price. Yes or no? I see 15 people face-to-face every week. I'm going to give you a caveat on this one. This could also be Zoom calls. I see 15 people face-to-face every week. Yes or no? I send 10 thank you cards out every week. Yes or no? 5 break breads with influential people every week. This is a cocktail, a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner with somebody in your database who is influential. Typically, this would be somebody from your top 25 client list database. Number 5, I talk to 60 people every week. It can be referral partners, it can be past clients, it can be family members, it can be anybody, but 60 people every week. I have 5 referral sources that account for half of my business. These are those corporate accounts or business to business related accounts that we've been talking about all last year. Referral sources, channel, some they call them channel accounts. And that's it. I have number 7, I have a top 50 list and I call and visit them every week. I call 10 and visit 2 of them every week. Number 8, I mail to my database of at least 400 contacts once a month. If you're not doing anything else after this call and you're not mailing to your database, communicating with your database on a routine basis every month, that's the number one thing you need to start. 9, I call past clients to do an annual review call 4 years back. We're going to be talking about that today a bit in regards to Raving Fans. 10, I have 30 accounts of influential people I am prospecting to weekly. Okay, these may be people that don't even know you yet. We talk about these as being funnels, right? when we talked in even in 2019 and 2020 about starting those years, going out and identifying 30 people that are influential in your market that you could go out and meet, these are who I'm talking about. I generate 40 leads a month. Baseline for any solid real estate agent in most markets. There's some markets out there that this is an anomaly because of price point, but it's about 40 leads a month. And a lead, let's quantify a lead. A lead is somebody that raises their hand and goes, I want to buy or sell within the next 6 months. A lead is not somebody you just get from Zillow or who comes in from a KV Core lead, or it's somebody who actually you have a conversation with or have been nurturing that's going to buy, that's committed to buying or selling. 12, I perform Tuesday update calls for my clients and referral sources every week. Something else we're going to dive into today. 13, I have a formal presentation and I give it to all prospective clients. In 2021, I want you to think, you may have friends, relatives, you may have people that you've sold properties in the past. I want you to treat them like they're a new client. You afford them the chance to sit down, the chance to go through what's happening in the market, the chance to talk about the property, the chance to go through your marketing, because things may have changed via COVID since last you bought or sold with those people. So everybody in 2021, regardless of who, gets a formal presentation. You have 2 channel accounts that send you 2 deals a year. These are going to be specific to those corporate accounts, relocation accounts, REO accounts, human resource accounts. We're listening to 15. I listened to 2 training CDs, webinars, YouTube videos, any of the books. Yeah, audiobooks. I'm listening to 2 training CDs every month. 16, 2 client parties every year. 17, spend 4 hours per day selling and prospecting for new business. This, if you're not doing this, guys, the number 17, this is really your goal. And it's kind of like me saying, dude, you need to go run 4 hours a day. It's not going to happen right off the bat, right? It's something you're going to have to discipline yourself with, which is what we talked about last week. Discipline, time block, and ultimately perform so that you can get up to, hell, half of my day every day is spent on obtaining new business. 18, I survey my clients and receive a minimum score of 8 out of 10 on at least 9 out of 10 of those surveys, 90%.
Hey, Sean, on that survey one, Fidelity or Chicago just sent me one through SurveyMonkey, like asking for a testimonial stuff. But it was really clean and super easy to set up. So we're looking into that. Once I have that set up, I'll send it over to you so you can get out to everybody to utilize.
Perfect. And if you're not, I love it. And if you're not technologically sound, then the other thing that you can do is I have actual surveys for marketing, communication, and market knowledge, I believe, in Workplace. They're already uploaded there.
Nice.
We're going to talk a little bit today with the Raving Fans about how to use those surveys to obtain more referrals. And then 19, I hold, 19, I hold or attend one group training or seminar every month. This would be for your database or your referral partners. And 20, I send birthday cards to a top 100 clients and business accounts. And, that can be supplemented with some Facebook stuff, some cards that are going out. And we're going to talk today about KV Core's just launched within the past 2 months, a birthday and anniversary program that you can take advantage of for your sphere or database. Okay. So if you said today is January 13th, and if you said, hell, by the end of this year, I'm going to tackle 5 of these. And next year, I'm going to tackle another 5. And the year after that, another 5 and another 5. That's cool. If you want to tackle all 20 this year at your speed, the speed at which you implement equals your success. So I would love it if you could knock these 20 out, or these 20 things out in the next 6 months. Get organized. The key behind these guys is setting habits. Right? Understanding that, we've got to meet with people every day and we're making the calls and we're committed to planning our schedule for the next week. And at the same time, we're taking great care of our clients and our database. None of this has to do with internet lead generation. None of this has to do with, many of the other things that we waste our time with or get sucked in with drama. This specifically has to, and you'll remember me mentioning this at the end of December for our last event. This all has to do with going out and building relationships in 2021. All right, so it's a self-assessment. I'm not going to ask you to give your score, but here we go. Anything under 12, the course says, hey, we should find a new job. I don't say that. I think that's that's too aggressive. I say this is room for improvement. Now you know what needs to be done each week. Let's go out and do it. Okay. Following up on last week's conversation in regards to discipline, I have also included for you to mirror or as a template a day-to-day planner. We talked last week about your theme days, but this actually gives you some content and some clarification on what can be done in themes in regards to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and who you can be calling and what kind of systems that you can implement. So to get here, we can use this template of how to time block. And you know, one of the other things, I don't think she's on the call today, but one of the other things that you should consider doing to keep yourself organized for the rest of the year, if you don't have it, because you've got logins, you've got passwords, you've got databases that can be printed out and put it in a binder. You can get your lead tracker, but you guys should all have some kind of a binder that's your go-to. Here's mine. I shared with you last week. Lead trackers for the past 2 years in here. My database is printed out in here. I've got brochures in here. We've got written down our passwords for all of our logins. So utilize something that's super easy that you can carry around with you all the time. So that if you have some downtime, you can open it up and start calling through some of these top 25s or your referral partners or your database. Okay. Get organized. If you want to see a copy of this or have a conversation around it later, I'm more than happy to do that. All right. We're going to go into a little bit of the slide share here. So today's topic is about creating raving fans. Many of you have probably read this book by Ken Blanchard. It's a super easy read. And this is what today's topic is based on in coordination with the core training, which is I believe one of the #1 real estate and lending coaching companies in America right now. But great book, easy read, talks about how to run a business specifically in regards to yourself. Here's what it's going to ask the question of: do you know what you want in business? Do you know what you want with your clients? Do you know what your customers want? Are you working with customers who want to work with you and who want what you want? And are you delivering +1, what's called +1 service? Okay, that's the goal of reading this book. So when we're talking about real estate, the biggest thing when you're surveying your clients is this. Many of them have only bought or sold 2 or 3 houses in their lifetime. You may have, somebody who's in the military who's done it, or an investor who's bought and sold several properties. But the Joe Schmo client has only done this 2 or 3 times a year. So they're fearful. And as an industry, in some cases, we don't alleviate their fears well enough through education and information. And so that's really what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the things when you're done with the transaction, you say, these are the things that I've done in the past that have made me a successful agent to connect with my client to get referrals. These are the things I could have done, or these are the things I should have done. And ultimately, the goal is to guide them through this process in order not only to create referral business from them, but also for them to continue being our client. Do you remember the statistic that we talked about last week, anybody, of what the percentage of agents who had represented the buyer of a house who actually end up getting that listing? Do you remember
27 or 24?
Yeah,
something low.
27%, right? Thanks, Shannon. So that means 2.7% out of 10 transactions. That means only 27 out of 100 homes that sold, they're going to use that same agent. And here's why. The process that we're going to talk about today is why. Because just as an industry, understand, we're not creating raving fans in most cases out there. And it's a mindset shift for you guys to understand. And even, I've got to be honest, for me as well, to understand I need to do a better job at creating clients for life, connecting with them, creating and building relationships, than just saying, oh, well, we sent them a postcard, we sent them a Christmas card, we dropped off a pie. That's really not building a relationship. That's not solidifying that relationship. So these are the topics that we're gonna talk
Hey, Sean, on that piece, I think there's an area of opportunity there too, because I think a big piece is the folks are either out of the industry or aren't communicating with them. And so that's why you should have like an adopt a buyer program for your listings. We know where they live when they buy your property and stay in contact with them. It's happened before where they think you actually sold them the house and you're representing them on their next sale.
I'm going to we're going to have a hard stop at noon. I'm going to meet a stager over at a property for a house that I was the listing agent on, and they didn't like their buyer representation. They loved the marketing that we were doing. We've got him on a phantom follow-up program. I Facebooked him after the transaction, and he called me, goes, dude, we loved the representation that you gave the seller. We loved your marketing. We want you to list our house. So we call it, in some cases, people call this a phantom database. And this would be for all the buyers who are purchasing your listings. You should certainly have them on some kind of a geographic farm, if nothing else, because again, there's room for opportunity there. They know your name, they know your face. You've had evidence of success in selling that house in the past. If they're going to go, we have gained in, at least here, and probably in your marketplace too, we have gained an uber amount of equity over these past 2 years. I mean, 2 years ago, they bought this house for $855. We're going to list it at $1.1. You know, I mean, it's stupid. So this is what we're talking about. Sorry. So we're going to talk about different parts of the escrow process, just initially. The first is the setup. And when you're thinking about this is the first 24 to 48 hours post-contract acceptance, okay? Derek, you put somebody in escrow. Here's the process of what happens immediately. There's got to be some kind of transaction-based cash management system that these people go in. For us, we use a company called Brivity. Many of you have other task management systems, the old top producer system. I believe, some people use Outlook or Gmail-based task calendars. So whatever that is, it's got to go into a system that's going to be repetitive for every client that you have. You can send them during this time a vendor list. Here's who we're thinking about using for a home inspection company or a sewer lateral company or a pesting company. Here's who you have, so we can start providing information to them. We specifically send them an abstract of contract. And basically and I'm sorry I'm talking fast, but I've got so much information to deliver in such a short period of time. I'm just burning and turning. So abstract of contract basically is a cover sheet for the contract that says, here's all the terms that are important. Here's when we're going to close. Here's when our contingencies are to be released. Here's how much your down payment looks like. Here's the other people in the transaction. And what this does in regards to creating Raving Fans, if they didn't know that they were paying for title insurance, or they didn't really know what half of escrow was, you can always revert back to the abstract of contract. It's an easy deliverable to them on top of the contract. Number D, you're going to email them a copy of the contract for the records so that they have it. And then you're going to connect everyone within the transaction. We have a couple of different email templates that go out that say, okay, here's escrow officer, meet lender, meet listing agent, meet selling agent. You're the coordination for everybody. Don't be assuming that these folks are coordination. That's one email. And then the second email that goes out is specifically to if I'm representing the buyer, it's to the escrow officer, it's to the buyer, and it's to the lender. And then obviously I'm on it. So we're collaborating and coordinating everybody on that. Also, in regards to the abstract of the contract, it goes out to the lender so that I can also call them and keep them on track in regards to the flow of the transaction. Anyway, people learn differently. People consume information differently. And so if you think for every client, regardless of what you're trying to convey to them, you have to do three things. Number one, tell them. Number two, give it to them in writing. And number three, show them the process. Showing them the process can be a video, can be an illustration, can be a flow chart, whatever it is. How? Hey, our home inspection is next Tuesday. How? Just confirming our conversation, email. The home inspection is next Tuesday at 2 p.m. at the location. Here's what time you need to show up. And here are the hours that it'll be done. Next, I'm going to give them the information for the home inspection company. Here's what they're going to be inspecting when they're there. Here's how long it should take. Let them know and give them the opportunity in advance to ask any questions. Anyway, for 2021, as far as clients are concerned, for Raving Fans, tell them, give it to them in writing, show them the process. I got somebody trying to log in here. Hang on, I'll let you in. Okay, next. Okay, 2. This is over your escrow time frame. These are topics that we're going to talk about to keep them engaged with you, to keep the conversation flow moving, to keep them happy, and to incite referrals over this 30 days. Here are some of the things that we can do. How are you bringing added value during that time frame? Mailing notes, telling stories, sending comparables, introduction to neighbors, taking them around the neighborhood and showing them where the schools are, showing them where the hospitals are. Let's see, explaining to them where they're going to sign, what they should bring. We try and give our clients net sheets throughout the 30-day escrow 3 or 4 times, so that we're not getting down to the wire and then they go, oh, what's this fee? I don't understand this. No, they keep again, if you're thinking about they're fearful during this time frame, if they're seeing each week you're updating the net sheet, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to consume those numbers at the end of at the end of escrow if you share that with them. Plus, if there's any discrepancies during the time frame, you can address them up front to cause yourself less pain towards closing. Next, update calls. This is mandatory for you to do each week with everyone you have in escrow. What's happening with the appraisal? What's happening with the reports? What's happening with title? Are we on track to close? Explaining to them and delivering to them a roadmap of what to expect next. Hey, Spencer, we're going to be delayed 2 days because the appraiser can't get out there until, next Tuesday because they're backed up in appraisal, in finding appraisers to get out there. So that call is mandatory. It shows that you're a professional, that you're delivering information instead of putting out fires. Plus, I'll share with you what else it does. On Friday, when they're coming up from work and they want to know what the hell's going on for the weekend, they're not going to be as apt to call you and bother you if you've given them an update earlier in the week and you set the expectation and say, hey, Shannon, Tuesday update call. If you need anything this week, please reach out via email, text. Get a hold of Chrissy if it's an emergency. Otherwise, I'll talk to you next Tuesday during the update call. No, this week, here's what I'm going to be working on, and here's what I'm going to be doing. Your clients don't know what you do on a routine basis. They think you just go back and sign the contract and turn it over to somebody, and that's it. You're out of the picture. So explain to them what's next. Here's my advice to you. If there is a problem, only call with solutions. Right? I'm not going to ever call a client and say, hey, Hal, we've got a big problem with rats in the attic. Yeah, and I just don't, I don't have a solution yet, but here's what this, that, and the other. No, I'm going to call them and say, hey, Hal, I got some good news and some great news. Hey, we're going to get rid of all those mice that they found on the pest report. We've already got 2 companies going out there to give the bids, and the sellers have already agreed to the eradication. So just want to let you know as a disclosure, this is all going to be taken care of. That's the point of selling. That's how we create Raving Fans. Okay, next, during this escrow timeframe, it's a perfect opportunity for you to be able to bring value to your referral partners. Okay, I'm going to change up my screen here so I can look at a new group of victims. So I could say, hey, Eileen, we just got into escrow. Who are you working with as a CPA? Do you mind getting a second referral? Or who are you going through for insurance? Do you mind if I introduce Bob to you? I've been doing business with Bob for a long period of time, and he seems 80% of the time to beat anybody else's policy. FP, financial planner, first-time home buyers. Hey, Bill, I know this is the first time you've ever bought a house, and you've probably been going to H&R Block or using TurboTax in the past. But listen, I want you to sit down with my financial planner and talk about taxes, talk about savings, talk about your financial goals. Do you mind if we make that happen? You guys you're like the puppets of the transaction, yet we don't think of ourselves with that much power. You have this series of vendors that you can share business with that in return will share business to us. You guys have heard of the giver's gain, right? I want you to think about that in 2021, the giver's gain. Every client that you have is an opportunity for you to refer them to some of your partners within, which in turn will create raving fans with those business to business related partners. Okay. Wow factors. Okay. You can go to moving companies and ask them to give free estimates, ask them to throw in free boxes, to ask them to throw in 10 or 15% off if you introduce somebody who's moving. Here's how the conversation goes, and it's an easy conversation. Angie, hey, this is Sean with EXP. Last year I sold X amount of houses. And all those people moved. Whether there's buyers or sellers, they're moving. If I make can we make an agreement that if I send anybody over to you, here's what you'll do for us? Free estimate, take some money off, whatever it is. Would you agree to that? Great. Now you can go to that client and say, listen, I've got to establish a relationship with X amount of moving company, with pods, with units, whoever, and they're agreeing to give you a 10% or a 15% off card. That's a wow factor. Take them no cards so that they can let their client with your stuff on it, so that they can let their clients know that they're moving. Invite them to lunch or cocktails or dinner during the escrow time frame. I think this is probably one of the things that no one does. You're creating that relationship. And if you say up front, hey, listen, if we get this accepted or when we sell it, I'm taking you out to dinner, and you can't say no. We just opened up here, so now you can take them out to dinner legally. But you're inviting them to lunch or cocktails. You can give them a congratulations at their work, lunch, cake, gift, balloons. Hey, congratulations on getting your offer accepted. If they have kids, find out what the kids like. Give the kids a gift, thoughtful gift. You can get to their heart or to their referral source through their kids. You can give them a paid date night. Hey, Lee, man, I'm so excited for you that we got this offer accepted. Here's a gift card for $100 to Ilfernau. I want you to go out and have a date night. Okay. And then help them with the utility transfer. That's creating raving fans. These are just some of them. And then the last 5 days, I want in 2021, I want each of you to call all of your clients who are closing at least once for the last 5 days of closing. Be there for the walkthrough. Be at the signing with a small gift. Review the net sheet with them in person or over Zoom. Every client will get a survey. And you've heard me talk about this before, but when you're first sitting down with that client, and you say, listen, at the end of our time together, the end of this business relationship and purchasing or selling this house, I'm going to give you a survey. Can we agree if you give me 10s on our surveys, you'll write down 3 people who you think might be buying or selling next year? It gives you 3 leads right up front. You sit down with them, they do the survey, and you ask for those referrals at that time. And you explain to them, hey, you put me out of business, which is a great thing. We're excited about this, but can you help me get back into business? Can you find somebody in your network who's got a job promotion, who is relocating, who has a change in family? Can you make that introduction? And then next, you could help with a rekey, help them clean the house or hire a cleaner to go over there before they move in. You can share with them the home warranty or copy or brochure at the close of escrow. Have that be a special email that just comes out. Hey, I wanted to keep this separate. Here's your contact information for a home warranty, and here's your referral number, your account number. And celebrate with them. Take them out to dinner. Tell the story in your social media posts of what happened. Not just hey, just sold, but here's how this really impacted their life. Susie is a first-time home buyer. She never thought she would be able to buy, X, Y, and Z. This is her dream home. Share the story so that they can have that. Then take that and get, if you want to go overboard, print it out and have it framed and send it to them so that they can put it up in the new house. Give them a gift that reminds them of you. This is your time. You're writing marketing dollars out to them as a gift. Have something that has your emblem on it or your logo or your information on it so that it not only reminds you of them, but anybody who's associating with them, who's there, who sees it, also you're getting exposed to. Okay, I want to share with you this. This is KV Core. Under marketing and autopilot, they have launched this new resource, let me call it that, which is birthdays and anniversary. You can go through there and set up for people to get texted on their birthdays, anniversary of purchases, and I believe wedding anniversary as well. Take advantage of this as we're talking about implementing and supplementing your database for connections. Okay, so after close, and then we're going to move on to the packet. After close, there needs to be post-close a personal message from you in writing that's sent to them. I really appreciated our time together. You know, whatever. You make up the story, but it's got to be a personal note, personal message from them. Then there's this system, a 10-day check-in. 20, how was your move? Are you all moved in? Do you need anything from us? 35-day. Call them in regards to their mortgage if they're a buyer, because you're going to say, hey, did you get your mortgage statement? Or if they're a seller, hey, did you get the reconveyance, or did you get an updated statement with a zero balance? Be that connector to make sure that they're on track with things. Then we're going to call them 60, 90, 120 days, 6 months later. Make sure that you're connected on social media, LinkedIn. You're inviting them to mixers. You're inviting them to education and growth. You're connecting them. You're being a connector. You're connecting them with vendors. I just connected. Actually, at EXP, one of my past clients is a legal paralegal, and I saw that there was a job that popped up in EXP as a paralegal, and I go, hey, you know, here you go. Why don't you apply for it? So she applied for it. So be that connector with people. We are going to get back to normal at some point. Obviously, now client parties are a little different, but I knew people here in Sacramento who had client parties at the pumpkin patch. Okay, there's social distancing there. They invited them to the pumpkin patch, gave them free access. Here, get 2 pumpkins, and we're all going to meet there, just some face-to-face. So you got to get creative and do things other people aren't doing in and around the handcuffs that COVID have put on to us in relation to a business, business referral relationship. And then,
Hey, Sean, on the client parties,
yes.
you could always like hire someone to do like a virtual concert, right?
Yeah.
Well, the musicians are
Why
pretty
don't you talk about that a little bit, because it's either something you've done or we're planning on doing, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of like the restaurants that you used to go to that would have like a guitarist play or a singer play, right? They would perform. They're hurting real bad right now, so you could possibly hire them and then set up either a Zoom call for that or do it through Facebook and do like a private watch party with your sphere of influence, but you pay them, pay the the performer, right? And give them some income, and then also support people while they're at home.
Exactly. Yeah, it's creative. It's outside of the box. I love it. Yeah, so you got to get creative with the ability to connect these clients and client parties, and then invite your business related people too, so that you're creating value amongst everyone. Okay, that's the presentation, if you will, and then I'm going to go back to the actual documents. So you guys all have these. We're going to upload them into Workplace later. What I'm giving you here, I've talked a lot about note cards, and many of you go, man, I don't know what to say. Let me blow this up a little bit. So I've given you 12 of our templated note cards. Chrissy, do we have any of our note cards, the ones that we've sent out in the past? You can go in the marketing store and get note cards. Those them? Yeah. Okay. So here's an example of, I can't see myself now, but let me go up. Here's an examples of blank ones that we've ordered. You can order them through anywhere, and boom, fold it. We're writing a little something, and it's gone. However, you got to get creative to do these, but these will set your business afire, both in referrals and in connection. So there's some referral cards or referral notes for you. Okay, here's an example of steps to creating Raving Fans. I gave you a lot of this stuff, but here's some activities before you meet the client. Thank you note. Thank you to the person who referred you to that party. Email with map to the office, asking about the all about you form, what they like to drink, menu for soda, water, or coffee. If you're doing a Zoom call, you can even create like a PowerPoint which says, welcome to your first home, the Sandoval family, and have that being as part of the first slide, or whatever that is, just a little touch that makes them feel excited. Okay, and 30 to 45 minutes to complete the application, meaning you're giving them amicable amounts of time. during the transaction, the thank you notes and the your approved call and the appraisal complete and the Tuesday update call and the driveway call and all these things that, and here's a bunch after closing and making certain that you're connecting with them. So I've given you this, and I think there's a blank one too somewhere. If not, we've got there's a blank one in here too. I think it's at the bottom. So here are some key escrow touch points. Okay. And we talked about this, an introductory letter, conference call between title lender and agents. Wouldn't it be cool, guys, if you gave them all guest passes to the world and met everyone in the world? Think about that. Pretty cool. Could do that with your lender, with the other agent as a recruiting tool. With the escrow officer, you can meet everybody in there. Abstract of the dates, call client to review the contract. And then there's a laundry list of things that happen. Loan approval, celebration, treat bag for the dog or cat, treat bag for the kids, moving boxes, mailing labels, change of address, call every 10 days prior to closing, list of area utilities, voter registration card, very important these days. Attend the inspections, be there for them. And then closing, send pizza, find out when they're moving, making sure you're there for the walkthrough, delivering the keys, having it rekeyed. That's been, we haven't done it lately, but that's been one of the best gifts I think that we've done in the past is, you pay the $200 to have everything rekeyed, and then you give them the master key in a box with a red bow on it at closing. We've done big red ribbons on the outside of the garage. So get creative with this and utilize that as marketing for you. So if you are going to do that, boom, take a picture of your key box and say, oh, another satisfied client moving in. We just had the property rekeyed and they'll be here in 5 minutes. Or here's the bow. Have them utilize that stuff to tell the story and to show your evidence of success. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, go over the HUD prior to closing. Did I already mention we sent our HUD ones out for closings for 2020 to all of our clients for tax purposes? Making sure that's just another connection to show your value. Post-closing, 10-day pop-by, check in on client 10 days after moving, set anniversary follow-up, set up on the evidence of success and letter of the heart, deliver a closing gift, send a locksmith, take away used boxes, host a party, jumbo thank you card from the team. Jumbo thank you card is like one of those big cards you can get at Hallmark or wherever. Vendor lists, copies of HUDs, keepsake photo book after move-in, and they can do a photo ID for the insurance purpose, DVD for insurance purposes. Okay, another thing that we do as a customer service, at least here, the clients get this huge packet of disclosures. They don't know what the hell those are. So we put this cover page on that we call Receipt for Reports and Disclosure, where we actually go through every required document and who did it, when it was dated, meaning what company may have done the inspection, and what the findings were. And this way, and here's why. I'll share with you why. Because one time I had a client when their supplemental tax came due and their first installment came due, and they go, "You never told us that there was Melrose for this house." And I said, "Well, you signed the NHD report, right?" "Yeah, but Sean, I didn't go through that report." Well, it's probably both of our faults because he should have gone through the report and understood that. But apparently, even though I have them sign the MLS sheet that states that there's Melrose, and we have them sign the property ID, they may not be aware of that stuff during this fearful change and transition process. So we try and make this easily deliverable to them. And it saves us heartache in the past because when they sign off on it, we're actually putting the amount, or is it? We're actually somewhere in here. We're putting the amount of Melrose in here. Okay. So I give you that form. Here's 10 Realtor Laws. And this goes back to the discipline, but also creates raving fans. Number one, call 12 of your VIPs each Monday of the 50. Ask them how they are. Invite them to happy hour. Share with them the birthday program. You can deliver cupcakes as part of or a cake as part of your marketing plan to them as pop-bys. Calling your database, and it gives you some organization there. Seeing 15 people face to face each week. Breaking bread with 5 of them. Come with gifts. Typically books for these, a lot of the top 25, you're wanting to help them grow, and they should also be business owners. So focus on how you're helping them grow. Lunch and learns, you're gifting to the spouse, cheesy gift, which we're going to I'll show you in a minute, cheesy gift. Creating a VIP program for them. And, you know, Hal, hey, I want you to know in 2021, I've identified you as one of the top 25 people in my VIP program. Here's what that means. They're obviously on a birthday program. And then if you're working with builders or your geographic farm, your whale list, regular calls to set appointments. These are those top 30s. You're sending them gifts as well. And then you've got a video program running with your VIPs and your database and the corporate accounts that you're trying to get. And then obviously there's some self-balance stuff here as far as working out and gratitude. Okay, so before I go into this, I'm going to scroll down, and here is the overall. Oh man, where is it? Oh, no cheesy gift in here. Did I miss it? Well, I'm going to come back to that. Sorry, guys. Maybe I have the wrong attachment. Sorry. Okay, so here's some cheesy gifts. This is a fidget spinner. Any way you spin it, we can handle your referrals. Thanks. Okay, here's a little army man. We will go to battle for your referrals. Tape measure. Do you know of someone who is looking to buy or sell? Be sure to refer them to an agent who measures up. Would love to take a shot at your referrals. And let's pop open some new business. And we would love to give you referrals a hand. A little hand sanitizer, a little football. Hand your referrals off to a winning team. Do you have that copy? Can you print that?
Is it this? Who's this
Cheesy
one,
cup.
right? Or the only ones?
No, the cheesy gift one.
Cheesy.
And then save the hard work for us. Let us handle your referrals. There's a mug. Whether your hands are hot or cold, we can handle them. And then here's some others. Cheesy gift, beach ball. Let's have fun working together. You can send that to them. Don't get burned. Let's protect your clients. A little spray. A little desk fan. We want you as our biggest fan. Engraved shot glass. Give team Reichert a call, whatever your team name is. Bath bomb, relax and let us do the work. Little tote bag, appreciate your referrals. I mean, look at the price on these. These are pretty cheap, right? Flashlight, let us light the way. We've given you where you can buy them too, which is kind of cool. Mini dartboard, working with us as a bullseye. Yankee candle store, smell the way to a better business. And wine glass. Wine pairs nicely with great friends.
This is all she gave us, this, and then the
Is
two
that the
separate
cheesy list?
attachments with the cheesy list.
Yeah, those were the
Right.
ones. Can you give me one of the cheesy list one? Or no, these are them.
These
Okay.
are them.
Okay,
That's all-
cool.
all of them.
All right, so those are some cheesy gifts you can send out. So here's what I'm also including is some checklists for you. We had these included in our virtual summit end of year business planning clinic. But for those of you who don't have good systems for walking your client through the process of selling, we've incorporated them here. So this would be a pre-listing checklist for you. I'm not going to go through every one of them. This would be, you know, the property is marketed and going on the market. This would be your actual marketing plan of what media is being used to advertise the property. And then this is your escrow checklist. And that's it. Okay. So it's about, I'm back. I'm done. It's a lot of information, right? So you guys have all the info in those packets. We'll send out the slide. We'll also send out the copy of today's team meeting. But I'd love it if we spent the next 5 minutes. You guys can share specifically some of the things that you're doing to wow your clients or that are happening outside of the box, and any other feedback that you might have on some of the things that we've talked about today. Great info. Love the cheesy gifts. Lee says, great info. Love the cheesy gifts. Okay. I see you guys
Great
are
training.
all on mute.
Thank you.
What's that?
I said great training, Sean. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Angie. Thank you.
Al said he had something he wants to say.
Yeah, I love it. No, it's great. You know that the end of the closing conversation every day for the last 5 days, that is huge, huge, huge. Just closed about $2 million in business. That was a adopted client on a seller on my listing, the buyer that purchased. Just stayed in touch with them, was kind of that resource for some problem issues they ran into. And it came back in a good way. So definitely good stuff. Really good presentation. A lot of content, Sean.
A lot of content. One of our goals, and I don't think we're going to be, honestly, I don't think we're going to be doing it this year. We're going to be having the resources to do it this year. But my true goal as far as customer service, I think I shared this last week, is every day during the escrow phase, they're getting something from the office, whether that's a call, an email, or a text. And I think that ultimately will save me a lot of heartache in trying to explain what's happening. But, you know, I think we are desensitized, if you will, to the, because we do this all the time and we just think about this as another transaction. But this is truly an emotional time for a lot of these people. And if we can ease those emotions, you know, people refer and make decisions based on emotion. So if they didn't have any stress throughout the transaction, every moment that they don't have of stress, I think increases the availability that they'll share and become raving fans for you. Yeah. Okay, we're done, guys. Hope it was worthwhile. Next week, I have no idea what we're going to be talking about, but it's on our schedule here. You can go and look at it, but we'll send it out, a reminder, and we're done.
I'll send it out.
Chrissy said she'll send it out. She'll send out next week's topic with the slides and the video for today.
Good
Cool.
job. Good,
All
good
right, guys.
job.
Love you all. If you need anything, reach out. Lots of good stuff happening right now with the company, with teams, with agents who haven't been doing deals before, who are in the chamber. So just keep working on that discipline.
Thanks, Sean.
Okay. All right, guys. Later.